Does living abroad get lonely? Sometimes yes, but probably not exactly in the way that you think. People imagine loneliness as being isolated all the time, but for many expats, it's a little bit quieter than that. You can have friends, a job, a routine, a full life abroad, let's say like this, and still feel lonely. And that loneliness, it's more because no one else shares your full context. So loneliness abroad, from my experience, often come from the fact of not being fully seen. So you are always explaining, translating, adjusting, exploring, adapting yourself into that new environment. It's less of the fact of being 100% alone, that you don't have friends or that you don't have the circle. Over time, you kind of learn how to live with it. It becomes a little bit less heavy. So at the end, for me, you need to learn to live with yourself in this constant reinvention and cycles of loneliness alone, because abroad, because it hits like, doesn't really matter how much time you have been living abroad. There is always a moment, a point in that life that you feel that you're missing something, or that something is not fitting in that new life that you're having, or you are missing something that is happening back at home. Like, I don't know, there is a new member of the family, or unfortunately someone died, or they are meeting all the family together and you are not there. And also these kind of loneliness points and cycles repeat, and it happens no matter how much time you've been outside. So I think it's important to acknowledge that and to understand that this will continue to happen. So learn how to live with it, and actually create your own support in the new country that you're having. So this close circle of friends that you can talk with, your partner, have these ways of contacting back home through calls, Skype, whatever, like Zoom. We have the capacity FaceTime at home, FaceTime from time to time at home, call your relatives and your friends and keep that connection. So a lot of people understands this loneliness as their own thing, and then they think that it's the only ones that they are passing through that, when in reality it's majority of the expats happens to pass through the same things. Maybe they are not in that moment right now, but they pass through it for sure. Like all of us that lived in a country and we are foreigners in somewhere else had these moments of loneliness at some point of our journey, for sure. And this is why it's so important to have certain connection also with other foreigners in the country that you're living on, because their experiences might be similar to yours. So at the end, it's important to talk about it and find out that others pass through the same struggles that you had also. So feeling lonely, in my opinion, abroad doesn't mean that you make the mistake moving outside of your homeland. It usually means that you're in the middle of this growth, no, and that it takes some time to feel comfortable with a new environment, and embracing the fact that you are neither the same person that used to live at home, neither a complete local person in that new place, and it takes time to adjust yourself to this constant reinvention that you will pass through years living abroad, and the fact of like explaining that you're from here or from there, like translating and adapting and exploring new ways of doing, learning new cultures, etc., etc. So it's a matter of embracing the fact that this will not disappear. This will be there majority of the times, as a circle, that it reappears like a sinusoidal curve, let's say like this, that comes up from time to time in your journey abroad. Topics like this come quite often into the podcast, and it's interesting, no? Like the part of emotions and loneliness abroad, it comes up quite often. So as I said, you are not alone in that. If you're interested in hearing about these real expat stories, make sure to subscribe and check the episodes of the podcast here. I hope this was solving the question and it was interesting for you. So see you in the next video.